Hello, YouTubers. My name is X Factor. Welcome to some Firestorm Rush. We're actually going to start a show schedule here. I know, right? The randomness to my channel might slowly be coming to an end. We're going to do some Tanker Tuesday for the next couple of weeks, and that might encompass all sorts of armor, such as LAVs, that, of course, attack boats. This is Firestorm Rush. We have 3 tanks. They have 2 tanks. They are already set up, and I'm messing around with the AP shell, and my APS is down. The biggest thing about Firestorm is making it to that next set of cover. You've got the first layer, which is kind of like your spawn. Then you've got this next layer, which is these sets of rocks. We're going to start off with some repair help because our infantry simply doesn't have anywhere to go. We haven't earned that real estate yet. So a lot of times when I tank, I dink and I dunk. I don't chase after swaths of kills, but I do try to move up and knock people off of power positions, like these 2 guys taking a nice little breather on their stomachs right there. That was a line of players that could have been keeping our whole row back. Try to take those guys out, maybe hit something that explodes real quick, take a little dink on their tank just to make sure he knows that I'm there. Pop APS because I don't want to give up that side shot based on me already giving up a front shot. That could have been 30 damage or so, depending on what shell that he's messing around with. Me, I went to AP, and it really works out on these open maps. Now, here's the way this works. HE shell is the hardest hitting shell in the game. But if you're in an open field and you're both DPSing nonstop, because remember, AP shell shoots faster than the HE shell, it's actually going to out-damage it. You simply get off more shots in the time that he gets his off, and I'm in a lot of trouble, but I don't want to squish or push my engineer repairing me in the back out of the way, because the guy in my tank is just a medic. So again, we start off with a little bit of help here, and we're not going to have any once we move on. Saw that guy was there, shot him behind the concrete barrier. HMG doesn't go through those or in a timely manner. Remember, there's spots that HMG goes through or knocks down. Think about Siege of Shanghai, right? The first set of MCOMs, those concrete lips on the second story next to 50 cals, just HMG those. They melt away like they're butter. But these concrete barriers, might as well hit them with the full shell. Hit the stuff that goes boom. So I talked about dinking and dunking tanks. I do this a lot. I don't just chase after armor kills. Sometimes it's best to keep their armor in check. If you can bait him into the open, you're guaranteed at least 1 shot, even if he pops APS. If he's far enough from cover, you might get 2 off, then you might get a disable if you're lucky. If you're using HE, you're definitely more than likely going to get a disable. That's what it's about, putting that tank into critical disable so he simply can't move. So this is some of the dinking and dunking. Could I drive forward? Absolutely, but that's splitting defenders. As you see in the mini-map, there are still guys by both sets of NCOMs. I don't want to split the defenders, meaning there'll be defenders on both sides of me, because what can happen? I'm giving them too many angles on my tank. Myself and the secondary gunner can only watch so many angles. The tank is only as strong as the infantry around him, and the tank can definitely weaken the infantry in those power positions. You'll see me do that multiple times. And here, I should have really dodged out, but I thought I could have finished the kill. One thing about Battlefield 4 is if the Javelin is in the air, you kill the guy. Now it's not in the air. And this is also what you have to worry about, the guys with the C4 flanking you. And sometimes if you kill the guy with the RPG, the SRA, or the SMAW, it disappears. It's like he didn't even fire the projectile. And again, that's sometimes. That's not all the time. And for good measure, just in case he bailed out to squish somebody, knife somebody, kill the Jeep. That's always a good idea, because the last thing you want is for him to throw the Jeep stuff, possibly stolen Jeep stuff on there, and then stick it in your rear end about 2 foot deep. That never works out for a tank, no matter what. So here you see me kind of clearing up the area, watching this last cap, and that's the thing. You don't have to go crazy with the tank, because you only have 2 of them on this first set of MCOMs. You want to play more of a supportive role, and that hurt. That was the flying you have of death, and we're okay, because we're getting repairs. We can rep through that, but that's the critical damage. I can't rotate the base of my tank. I can just rotate the turret. That is the same critical damage that can happen if an RPG or SMAW gets behind you and hits you straight in the ass. Remember, ankles is everything when it comes to RPGs. And that, you didn't hear the sound of my primary. That was a splash off that tank up there. So if you get the 55 in the rear or so, that's a critical disable. And your rear sits up high enough that you can't turn the turret and kill the guy. These sneaky support players, engineers, and recons are absolutely everywhere. This is what happens when you creep too far or assume that this area is safe. When you're the tanker, you are the big priority for the other team, whether it's their attack jet, which we got lucky. I didn't show this. They had a couple passes on us, forcing me to pop my APS in between our deployment and, of course, that first set of cover that I was talking about, that set of rocks that you have to get to. And that right there really hurt. That's the Javelin. One thing you may not know about the HMG is that guy eats the primary shell in the face. That'd have been a very hard shot with the HE. The AP, much less lead, but much less damage on Arbor. Is double tap the HMG. The first 2 shots are perfectly accurate. Or tap fire. Single tap fire. It also helps with the cooldown. Now, here's a lead that I saw the guy running close enough to the building. And as you can see, I got that splash kill. So the second set of MCOMs didn't really have much of a fight because I usually go wide right, which people have to expose themselves to get to me. But I'll just drive through that. Don't need to use a primary. And one thing you might want to know if you're trying to sneak up on people, and if you have a secondary gunner on VoIP, tell them, hey, only shoot if you have to, because that gives away your basically position. Now, you could run something like thermal camo, so when you're spotted less. Then, of course, you only spot the second you shoot, and you're not on there for extended periods. But I really don't like that. I really like the zoom optic, because it really comes in handy when you're trying to lead stuff with the HMG. And we're on the third set of MCOMs, and here is my mistake. Tanking is not only about the angles in which you take on other pieces of armor and infantry, but the angle in which you have and the ground that you're at. I didn't have much of a down angle. I goofed. I got disabled. Everything and anything could light me up. And again, I didn't have a means to be able to shoot back because my tank was on an angle favoring the bad guys. So we actually lost the tank trying to go down with it. The guy spawned back in as an engineer. So we had some reps, but it's just not enough when you kill the entire server and they're spawning javelins, RPG straws, and smalls all over the place and trying to hunt you down. So we're in the third set of MCOMs, which the tank allowed us to push. Both tanks kind of got pushed up pretty far. Saw the guy's laser pointer in the smoke. Always a good idea to turn that off. I've actually debated removing laser sight from all my weapons because it seems like I never use it. But we're actually going to go flawless in this round. A little more ACWR spray while strafing because I thought I was going to take some fire. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some Tanker Tuesday. Let me know what you want to see next week. Do you want to see some LAV? Do you want to see some attack boat? Do you want to see some more tank on maybe a Conquest or Rush map? You guys decide. That's what I'll do next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon.